call to order. Will you please stand for the salute to the flag? Freeholder Johnson, will you please lead us in the salute? Remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. I have before me certification from the clerk that this meeting is in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Beasley, absent. Freeholder Bobadilla, absent. Freeholder Clark, absent. Freeholder Gill.
Here.
Freeholder Johnson.
Here.
Freeholder Luciano.
Here.
Freeholder Owens, absent. Freeholder Vice President Sebo. Here. Freeholder President Watson.
Here. Madam Clerk, are there any transcripts to be approved?
Madam President, yes, there is one. Conference Board meeting, June 12th, 2014.
Okay, Freeholder, do I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Vice President Sebo. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Freeholders, any questions or comments? No question, comments. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Beasley, absent. Freeholder Bobadilla, absent. Freeholder Clark, absent. Freeholder Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano.
Yes.
Freeholder Owens, absent. Freeholder Vice President Sebo.
Yes.
Freeholder President Watson.
Yes.
So moved.
Let's move to the public comment session, Madam Clerk, on agenda items. For the audience tonight, tonight's meeting is a combined conference board meeting, and we will be voting on every item on the agenda. So if there's any member of the public who would like to comment on any item on the agenda, please come to the microphone and state your name and affiliation for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Okay, Madam Clerk, let the records show that there's no one wishing to speak at this time. Do we have any members of the public who would like to speak on any subject or any issue? Please come to the microphone, state your name, affiliation, and you have 3 minutes to speak.
Thank you. My name is Andrew Miller. I'm the Director of Operations for Blue Ridge Learning Centers and Challenge Towers Aerial Adventures. We were the design consultants for the Treetop Adventure course at the South Mountain Recreation Complex, and also the installer of that facility. We recently were awarded a 2-year contract for maintenance, training, inspections, and equipment replacement. Our schedule has precluded us from being present at your meeting up to this point, so I wanted to just let you know that I am here this evening and happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Very good. Let me see if I have any other members of the public who would like to speak,
Certainly.
and then I'll call you back up before I start with the agenda.
Okay.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else from the public who would like to speak on any issue?
Madam President, Chris Taylor, Chief Shop Steward, IBEW Local 1158. I'm here on behalf of Joe Calabro, our business manager, to make apologies to the board. One of our contracts was on your agenda last week. I know there were some questions about it. What it is there are a number of contracts that the IBEW has with the County of Essex. The one you were voting on last week was a splinter contract for the Commissioner of Registration that covers about 20 people, just bringing them the same benefit packages as the other 1,200 or so employees of the county. It's such a small group that it almost never requires IBEW to be there, but we do understand the concern of the freeholders, and Mr. Claver asked you to make his apologies. He will assure you that we know a contract is on today. Another of the small splinter groups is on today. We will be here at any time that the administration wants a representative here to answer any questions that you may have. Once again, please accept Mr. Claver's apologies.
Okay. Do we have anyone else from the public who would like to speak on any issue or any subject? Okay, Madam Clerk, and before I go to topics of discussion, Mr.
Yes.
Okay, but the gentleman, you want to come back up to the mic? I just wanted to make sure. it was appropriate to bring you up at this time. And again, place your name on the record
My name is Andrew Miller.
and from,
I am Director of Operations with Blue Ridge Learning Centers and Challenge Towers Aerial Adventures.
okay, very good. Freeholders, we have someone with the contract that I think we voted on previously, and I think the freeholders, some of us said they wanted to just see if there were any additional questions that the freeholders needed to ask, and we have someone present from the company who would be able to address any questions that we have. So freeholders, do you have any questions or comments? And Freeholder Vice President Seabold.
Thank you, Madam President. Have you started work at the treetop?
We have, yes. We just recently, within the last several weeks, completed a training for their staff. And then we also had one of our maintenance technicians there last week to do some adjustments to their zip lines.
Have there been some problems with the zip line?
No, not at all. It's pretty common that over time the cable will stretch, and so they need to be adjusted just to raise everything back up. So,
And now it's in perfect working condition?
yes, it should be as it's spec to be, as it's specified.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, freeholders? Yes, Mr. McInerney?
Could you explain what typically is done as far as the maintenance? Is that something done both by the county itself and oversawn by you, or is it something you do on a periodic basis in order to check out the lines?
You know, that varies from client to client as to how that happens. So we have some clients that have the ability and resources to do a degree of maintenance on their own. There are certain components within that type of design and facility that we really don't want our operators, our clients, to be dealing with critical components to the course that have to do with safety and other things. So it's pretty common for an operation similar to that at Turtleback Zoo that we might make 2 visits, sometimes 3 a year, to address any variety of things. It could be just simple adjustments to various systems. It could be addressing specific items that have worn or had damage or other things. There's also, you know, always things that can come up from time to time that aren't as predictable, and I know as part of the contract that there's an expectation that we provide a response in a prompt way to those issues to try to prevent any downtime of the operation, you know, by Essex County. So what we don't know at this point with Turtleback, because we haven't gone through a full operating season, is really what the maintenance cycle is going to be like. And so much of that is dependent on the visitation overall to a facility like that during its operational season, as well as you pointed out, the work that might be conducted by by Essex County Parks and Recreation.
There's also, I believe there's a provision within the contract. I thought the amount was $25,000. Was it something in there for repairs or materials?
Yes, there is. What we had to do, and I think part of, you know, that we went through a couple of bids to work that out, and everything was pretty manageable in terms of identifying the scope outside of with the exception of maintenance, and that's where it became hard for us to really define scope. So what we tried to do is, you know, is to really look at what we would expect for a facility like Turtleback, again, not having gone through a full operational season to really know what kind of visitation they're going to have overall, and make some assumptions around that, as well as provide some opportunity for response. Given that there's limitations that we have to place because of those limitations were not specifically identified within the bid specs. And so the way it was written, you know, if another storm, say like Sandy, came through and provided, you know, a lot of damage to that facility, there wasn't, the second bid had a little bit more scope around it, but there wasn't full scope around really where the boundary stops for us to provide materials or other things in you know, fulfilling those contractual agreements. So we just wanted to be open about, you know, what we had kind of budgeted in that regard.
But that was that provision that I mentioned, was that specifically for materials? Or for time for repairs?
Overall, I think what ended up happening in the second bid, they changed the maintenance, and they asked basically to bid for 160 hours of maintenance. And so that's what we've provided in terms of the maintenance bid, is an hourly rate for 160 total hours over the next 2 years. Within that hourly rate is a total sum for materials that we budgeted, total sum for labor and those things. So there was an addendum provided with the bid that just kind of gave you an idea of where we had budgeted our materials within that, and just acknowledging that, you know, there's so many different factors, so many things that could happen that we just don't have a good sense of yet, given.
But if the materials came in less than what was in that contract amount, would that be a reduction in the contract, or?
Yeah, what we intend to do is simply bill for what we provide.
Okay,
And
so
when
there
we
is a
come
piece
up,
in there.
yeah, we will not, yes, we will bill for the work that we do, and we will not bill beyond that.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Very good. Thank you. Freeholders, additional questions, comments? So in addition, with the contract, it definitely includes preventive maintenance.
Yes.
On the equipment.
Yeah, I anticipate we'll be up there, and as their season starts to slow down here in the fall, we'll be up to do some work, and we will be there twice a year to do inspections, and that gives us a good indication of what needs to happen for maintenance. Yeah.
Very good. And that's good, because the county, we always like to make sure that preventive is the best.
Yeah.
You've
got
whatever.
it's a great facility. We're real proud of being a part of that, and we are invested in making sure that it is kept up, and both on an aesthetic and on a safety level. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Freeholders, you have any additional questions, comments? Again, let me thank you for coming. I think Freeholder Luciana is going to come up when you start with the preventive maintenance, and he's going to be on the zip line, and he promised us it won't be on the kids' zip line. He's going to go for the bigger one.
I invite you all over to do that.
I have been up there, and I do appreciate the preventative maintenance, because once you get up there, it is pretty intimidating.
It
and
is.
I know that safety is important.
And Freeholder Johnson is the other athlete of the board, and I don't hear him saying he's going to.
I'm going to let Freeholder Luciana take my turn for me.
Please.
Very good. Okay.
For the record, I'm an athlete.
Okay, thanks again for coming and sharing the information with the board.
Thank you, Madam President.
Okay. For the record, Madam Clerk, Freeholder Owens is present. And we have with us one of our interns, Josiah Taylor. Mr. Taylor, you want to stand up? Well, Mr. Taylor, thank you for working with the county, the freeholders and the freeholders office this summer, and we wish you well. What do you plan to do when the summer is over? Want to come to the mic? And put your name on the record for me.
My name is Josiah Taylor. After I intern here, I will be attending Howard University, the School of Business.
Fantastic.
And I will be majoring in computer information systems and finance. So.
Fantastic. Come on, let's give him a hand. We are always so very proud of our young people that work as interns in the county, in the freeholders office during the summer. And just about all of our interns, they have gone on to higher education. You guys make very good selections for the freeholders. Thank you. Okay, let's move on. Madam Clerk, are there any topics of discussion?
Madam President, there are none.
Okay, let's move to the introduction of ordinance number 1. Please read it.
Introduction of ordinance number 1, salary ordinance 2014 through 2017. President, Board of Chosen Freeholders, members, Board of Chosen Freeholders, County Clerk, County Surrogate, County Registrar of Deeds and Mortgages, and County Tax Administrator.
Okay, freeholders, Mr. Shelley, you want to explain the ordinance for us?
Yes, if I may, I would like to have Mr. Abramowitz explain the ordinance.
I started to say Mr. Abramowitz. I said, I better call on Mr. Shelley first and let him introduce you. Thank you, Mr. Continue. Put your name on the record for us, please.
Alan Abramowitz, Deputy County Administrator. The purpose of the ordinance is to request the Board of Chosen Freeholders to approve salary range adjustments for County Clerk, County Register of Deeds and Mortgages, and County Surrogate. In addition, a request to the Board of Chosen Freeholders to approve a salary range adjustment for the President, Board of Chosen Freeholders, and County Tax Administrator. Pursuant to NJSA 40:41A-38, the ranges of these titles are set by ordinance. The last salary range adjustment for these titles were approved through ordinance in 2012. The salaries for the county clerk, register of deeds and mortgages, and surrogates are to be set at the minimum of 65% of the salary for the judges of the state of New Jersey. The last salary adjustment for the President, Board of Chosen Freeholders, and County Tax Administrator were approved through ordinance in 2007. Collective bargaining agreements over that period of time have kept at least an average of 2% a year for our represented employees. The purpose of this ordinance is to keep parity for the titles that we have mentioned, to make up for the differences in years that they did not receive any salary increases. So we're proposing for the year 2014 a 3% increase, and for 2015, 16, and 17 a 2% increase to mirror the same as the collective bargaining agreements have received their recently approved contracts.
Okay. Mr. Polybecker, do you have any questions or comments to make on this ordinance?
No, I don't.
I'm going to call on Mr. McInerney, but he's in conference. Just give me a few minutes. Mr. McInerney, do you have any questions or comments on this ordinance?
No, I don't. I mean, I went through the ordinance. I received these amounts earlier, and I discussed it with the leadership as well as the administration, and I see no reason why these shouldn't be voted on this time.
Okay. Questions and comments, freeholders? No questions, no comments? Okay. Then, freeholders, do I have a motion and a second to introduce the ordinance?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Johnson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Freeholder Gill. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Vice President Sebald?
Yes.
Freeholder Owens? Yes. Freeholder Luciano?
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson?
Yes.
Freeholder Gill?
Yes.
Freeholder Clark absent, Freeholder Bobadilla absent, Freeholder Beasley absent, Freeholder President Watson.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, let's schedule the ordinance for a public hearing, and let's move to resolution number 1. And for resolution number 1, I'm going to ask Mr. Polyvecchio that I would like to move resolution 1 and go into executive session at the end of the meeting.
Right. So, yes, this is a contract for legal services for a new matter of litigation, and to discuss something in active litigation, retiring to executive session or taking a motion to retire to executive session would be appropriate. And at this time, if you wanted to move it to a later point in the meeting, you could just seek a motion to table it to a later point in the meeting or to the end of the other resolutions, so we could devote some additional time, or you could do that now.
Yes, I would like to move this to move resolution 1 and go into executive session at the end of the meeting.
So I think just, excuse me, Madam President, just at this point, you don't have to, you can just
I do it at the end
move,
of the
move
meeting.
to, right, just move to table it to
Okay.
later, and then at the, when we get back into it, then we can
Then
take
we
a
act the
separate motion for
to
executive
go
session.
into executive session.
Right.
Okay, then, so what we'll do, we'll table resolution 1, and Madam Clerk, we'll go to resolution 2, and we take 2 through 5, and we'll read it into the record at a later time. Ralph, Mr. Sheller?
Yes.
You want to explain to us resolution 1?
Or 2.
I'm sorry, resolution 2?
Yes, Madam President. This is out of the County Counsel's Office, collective bargaining agreement between the County of Essex and the Essex County Superior Officers Association, FOP Lodge 106. This primarily is commonly known as a housekeeping resolution. What we are attempting to do in this is to consolidate all of the jail as well as the jail annex memorandums of agreements into one document There is no fiscal impact, and it does not contain any new terms or conditions. Resolution number 3 is a memorandum of agreement between the county surrogate and the Essex County Local 32. This follows the same pattern as we've established with the other unions, primarily 2% starting June 1st, January 1st of 15, 2%, January 1st of 16, 2%, and January 1 of 2017, 2%. Resolution number 4, memorandum of agreement between the County Prosecutor of Essex County and the Assistant Prosecutors Association. Again, it's a 4-year agreement, 2% each year. The first agreement starts June 1st of 2014, and it has the same agreements and language as the other contracts that we brought before the board.